Good morning. If everybody take a seat, practice social distancing. And for the folks out there in our base camps, Sierra and China, you should be standing on an orange dot practicing that. Thank you for that. So we're live here streaming from the Clovis ICP. We are streaming out to the two camps I mentioned, Sierra, which is in Toll House, and then China base camp, which is in China Peak. Today's October 7th. Welcome to the 0700 operations briefing. Silence your cell phones. And any other conversations, hold to a minimum, and we'll get going with the breathing. Situation update. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everybody. Don Faguglia, Operations Section Chief here for California Team 5. We'll start up here in the north end of the zone for operational update for what happened last night. A quiet night here across the top. And then as you come down into Edison Lake and Vermilion Valley Resort, we were successful and brought fire from just south of the PAC station all the way around Vermilion Valley Resort and then to the 80 road and tied it back into the Black Edge just to the north of Mono Hot Springs. So that's about 3.5 miles of burning that got done last night. It all pulled in, got good depth off of it, and reports are that it was a successful night. So we're gaining some of that real shaky containment in there. Down along south here, to where this fire's edge is, eating towards Florence Lake. It advanced last night again, and we expect it to continue to advance towards Florence Lake at a slow pace today. It has gone past Ward Lake. We do have a hotshot crew inserted here at Florence to defend the values at risk, so we're ready to receive that fire should it come in there. Down along, we gained some black on the map yesterday and last night here along the Kaiser Pass Road, along that 80 road. We've been talking about that for almost 2 weeks now. Finally got that buttoned up to the point we feel good putting black on the map there. The prep continues along the 80 road out here in case this fire decides to move out, so we'll be ready to receive it there. That also happened yesterday and last night. Down along the bottom of this fire, all the way back to the zone break, was a quiet night. I think they had 3 calls for service all night last night. So with that, have a good, safe shift.
Thank you, Don. Weather.
Good morning, everyone. Incident meteorologist John Pendergrast. Well, our changing weather conditions are finally here upon us. That persistent ridge that we've had in place for such a long time is finally broken out. And we have an upper level feature that's a low that has moved ashore across central and southern California. And what that's going to do is cool us off. We're going to get back closer to seasonal temperatures. I only have 78 degrees forecast at 5,000 feet, and so higher elevations remaining in the 70s. One thing we want to watch out for, though, is that it's going to be dry once again today. Humidities will make themselves into the teens this afternoon, especially across the fire area. But the smoke and all the pollution and haze should be scoured out earlier today than previous days, which is good for air attack and any need for air resources out there. So all in all, just cooler conditions and not as low humidity for the rest of the week. Have a good, safe day out there.
Thank you, John. Fire behavior.
Good morning, Jeff Shelton, T5 Fire Behavior. So we get a little trade-off. We get the little higher RHs, but we're going to get some more instability. This fire has been and still remains a fuels-driven fire that's ventilation dependent. And so the RHs, the higher RHs, are going to take those pigs and bump them down a little bit, but we're also going to get some more air pushed into the fire area. So we are still looking at probabilities of ignition 60 to 90%, but that 90% zone is going to be squashed. It's going to be a little more compressed, so we're not going to spend as much time in the 90% pig area. The RH is going to influence the finer fuels first. They're still smoldering, and they'll go from smoldering to creeping to active surface to then at the peak of the burn period climbing into the trees, and then as we get into the night, once the sun goes down, that whole process will reverse. The difference we're going to see with this little bit of higher RH is the changes are going to be a little more abrupt. When you've been going out there, you've been having to kind of wait to see, you can see where the fire is, and you're just waiting for it to turn on. What's going to happen today is as the ventilation increases, that fire is going to go from that smoldering to creeping to active much quicker. It's just going to turn on. It's not going to be this gradual thing. It's going to be more abrupt. So just be expecting that the time frame of what you've been observing the last week and a half is going to be different. Once we get air into that fire, you know what's going to happen if you've been out there. The fire stands up. It's gonna use it. The large fuels aren't affected by this little uptick in RH at all. The places that we're looking at that I have the most concern, but just to be ready for, is the fact that we now have fire along the road here, and here at Edison we've got this catcher's mitt, and they're building depth off of that. So that catcher's mitt, once we get that ventilation, we get that upslope wind, is going to be right in alignment. So when all that fire pulls together right in that spot, that could be right about the time where the pig is high. So people who are holding this road, really watch your column, watch where the fallout's going. I'm feeling confident that the depth that they've developed, but you know what happens when fire pulls together, that intensification happens. So be prepared for it in this area here. There's also, when we have some increased instability, this area that's going up that north-facing slope there where it spits some spots, it has a little more fuel continuity out in this area here. And so that's something to be aware of, watching as the day progresses. If you have any questions, please get them back to me. Any information that you think I could use to make your forecast better, please let me know. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff. Operational assignments.
Okay, good morning. John Goss, operations trainee with roll call, work assignments, and priorities for the day. Starting with day operations, we have McBath. Night operations, we have Prather. And planning ops, Fergulia, Stevens, and myself as trainee. And air ops, John Kesey. Starting up in branch 20, we've got Via with a trainee of Prentice. Division Mike, Naylor, plus a trainee of Mitchinson. Division November, we got Marquez with the trainee of Kennedy. Division Papa, we got Hidalgo with the trainee of DeHart. Division Romeo, we've got Olson, Velasquez. Night Division November Papa Romeo, we have Knox. And got a structure group of Rose. Switching down to branch 25 and 29, we have Bontrager as the branch director. We have Lowry in Sierra Union. And a right-in switch there. We just got to switch those two division group soups there for Victor Whiskey and X-Ray Zulu. So we'll have Watson in Victor Whiskey, and we'll have Stevens in X-Ray Zulu. And the suppression repair group, we have Wade with the trainee of Borello. Okay, work assignments today. So November, as we heard from Night Ops, that is basically the bulk of the work assignments in November is to protect and hold those values at risk there around Vermilion Valley Resort, the PAC station, and the associated private structures within. Also holding that Kaiser Pass 80 road as well as you get back towards where the fire slopped over the 80 road. November also has a small group of folks back into Florence Lake, putting in the finishing touches on the structures, the store at Florence Lake to prepare for any defensive firing actions based on that movement towards Florence Lake. Swinging around to Division Papa today, they've got the 05 road that they're still got about 1.5 miles or 2 miles of road that they're currently holding. And then also finishing up the prep from the intersection of Stump Springs up to Kaiser Summit in anticipation of burning as well. Papa also has still a tactical patrol presence in the Huntington Lake area as well. Division Romeo, still putting the last finishing touches on some containment lines throughout the division, kind of right here where you see a couple spots here. Real dirty burn there, so they're going after all those last individual remaining spots within the burn to put those out. Switching down to branch 25 and 29. So Sierra Union there is where the bulk of the work is in that particular division. And then switching all the way around down to the southern end of the fire between Victor Whiskey and X-Ray Zulu, still in patrol status mode, pulling hose, finishing up with any last-minute hot spots along that fire's edge. And suppression repair, full swing of suppression repair, multiple different work areas throughout the zone there, still in south of Shaver, Blue Canyon area, and then also on the Stump Springs Road. So priorities for today are November, priority number 1 for aviation and for ground resources there, to continue to hold and protect those values at risk. Second priority today is to finish up the prep and prepare for any kind of defensive firing in the Florence Lake area. And then last, third priority is Division Romeo there. All right, have a good shift.
Thank you, John. Air operations.
Hey, good morning. As you guys know, and how's kind of been the case around here with the smoke, flying conditions are going to be real tough again today. So we're going to have to take a look, and we'll see what we can. But I think, unfortunately, most of our operations are going to be hampered by just the smoky conditions. But just like to remind you guys, call in with your visibility reports, and that kind of helps us gauge, or down at the helibase gives us an idea of whether it's getting better or worse. And we'll have Air Attack and Helco going up to try to take a look and see what the visibility looks like. Also, one more thing, the Sheriff's Department will have some drones, or is planning on doing some drone flights up around Huntington Lake on the north side and the south side of this lake, late morning to early afternoon. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Just a reminder, the management objectives have not changed. Ensure you review those in your division breakouts. Next, we got safety.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Brian Savage, Team 5 Safety. So I want to talk to Branch 20 folks at the moment. You heard IMET say it's going to get a little cooler. Well, here's the perspective I'd like to put you in for the next few days while we have this little cooler weather. Is the fire just sitting there? It's going to be sitting there, and it wants to wait for the opportunity when you guys least expect it to do a push. It's going to do it when you really maybe can't see it too well, and it's going to make a run, and it wants to catch you off guard, and it wants to get you surprised at the worst timing for it, and when you're in a location where it's going to be tricky for you to get out of the way. There's not a whole lot of safety zones up there, and if you have to get out of its way and you don't have a really good way to do that, that's what you need to plan on. And you need to have some backup plans, and you need to make sure everybody knows what that plan is. So make sure you have some trigger points to when to disengage. Make sure whether it's the fire behavior increases or the location the fire's now at. Make sure everybody understands what the plan is so you can get out of the way if it does that push. And it might be an isolated push, but that's all it takes to get you off guard and put you in a bad spot. So please make plans for that. Have good accountability. And for everybody else on the fire, 168 is still a big hazard for driving. That's not changing. Still a lot of traffic, a lot of logging trucks. So be heads up for that, and have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. Medical.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Jeff Carlin, Medical. So no major changes on the 206, but as safety said, have that plan in place. That goes same for your medical plans. You'll see that the ambulances are listed at different drop points on the 206, but they move throughout the day to meet operational needs. So just keep a heads up on that. You guys stay safe. You're doing a great job. Talk to you tonight.
Thank you for that. A message from communications: if you need cloning, you can get it in the respective base camps. Thank you. And next we have agency comments. Dean Gould.
Now I get to introduce myself twice. Good morning. Dean Gould, Forest Supervisor, Agency Administrator for the Creek Incident. Just a couple things. One thing, this is often referred to, make the analogy that this is a marathon. Okay, all right. So, at this point, well past a month now, it pretty much is. With a marathon, something that runners often do is they just settle into a routine. They just start cranking out mile after mile, especially now that we're at this point of the marathon, which, I don't know, this would probably be around mile 15 or 16 of the 26.2 that we're at right now. Very easy to fall into that situation where get up in the morning, hear the brief, go out there, and just kind of get in that automatic mode of going out there and again. I really appreciate the safety message about keeping your situational awareness up. that things can change at a moment's notice on this fire. We've seen that time and again. We heard from weather and fire behavior that we are going to have changing conditions out here. So I just have to really ask and emphasize with you to please do that daily reset, get yourself dialed back in for what is happening today, and make sure that you're applying whatever risk mitigations you can to the area you're going to and the task you've been assigned. That being said, I just want to really give a hats off to all the progress that's been accomplished lately, and Papa, Mike, November, really, really looking good. As I've mentioned previously, we're not going to overpower this thing. We're not going to outslug it, but we can definitely outsmart it. And that's what we're doing right now. You're taking advantage of it where it has its weaknesses, and we're making the most of those. So again, have a safe day. Really appreciate everything that you're doing.
Thank you, Dean. And I see closing comments. Dustin Mueller.
Hey, good morning. So, yesterday I got a visit out there to China Camp, and it was very enlightening, and see the conditions you guys have up there. It looked, everything was going swell. The attitudes were great. So I really appreciate that. I think Rick visited yesterday, and then Carlton's up there this morning. Just want to say thanks for all the positive attitudes and respect that you guys are showing up for each other out there. Also got an opportunity, with Ops out to Vermilion Spike Camp, see all the good work along the way. A lot of prep going on there that the fire and operation they completed last night looked like it was a success. Had some concerns at first, but with the fuel loading in there, but I think you guys could all agree that it's one of those years, and with the dead trees out there, I think they probably did a great job. Also saw a lot of good mop-up out there going on, a lot of good, hard work. Also went down into Huntington Lake a little bit, saw some aftermath of some crazy fire behavior is what I would describe it. Stumps and trees twisted up, houses on the deck. So just if you get a chance, maybe you go through there and kind of look at the mitigation efforts too. But if you want to see some crazy aftermath of some, fire tornado type stuff, that's what it looks like. And also be compassionate with the homeowners that are repopulated in there as well, just offer that. So with that, on behalf of the IC group of Team 5 and our Unified Command, thank you guys for all the hard work. Have a great shift.
Thank you. Okay, get on my spot here. Okay, unassigned resources. If you find yourself not on the IP, meet out to break out with your appropriate division soup or ops folks. And a couple messages on page 27. Finance has a nice message for you. Page 32, our human resources has a very warm message for you. And we'll jump over to page 42, DMOB. If you find yourself DMOB, there's some clear instructions there. Just follow those, get you off the hill there. And last, page 46, we do have a training specialist, and he's virtual, and he's looking for customers. Okay, 0700, the next ops briefing is here tomorrow morning. Then a cooperators meeting, Rick? We have no cooperators meeting here. And then our planning meeting here in 1700 this evening. So from Clovis ICP, have a safe shift. Thank you.